Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Shemel Shah by Shemel Kakodah. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video Trending Shaq and his 4 white girls. Isaiah chapter 4 or Isaiah chapter 4 verse 1 coming to pass. So anyway, it's matter of fact, let me do this. I did something on this yesterday, so it keeps coming up. Give me a second here. Where the hell is it? Okay, so this was put up 8 hours ago. GMS. Alma 1, Ibad, as you can see right there. The old ways will become the new norm. And it's starting with Israelite. You know, what does Romans chapter 8 verse 16 say? And not too many words. It pretty much says the spirit, matter of fact, I'll go to it. And a matter of fact, I'm going to go to it in NLT. Go to the NLT. For his spirit joins with our spirit to affirm that we are the Most High's children. For his spirit joins with our spirit to affirm that we are the Most High's children. Let's go to the BBE. The Spirit is witness with our spirit that we are children of the Most High. I want to give you another. Let me go to King James. Romans 2. Romans chapter 2. And this is in the King James. Okay, Gentiles. 2 times. I'm going to go right to the point. 14 verse. You know what? Let me see. Okay, 13 verse. Romans 2 verse 13. For not the hearers of the law are just before the Most High. 13 again. For not the hearers of the law are justified before the Most High, but the doers of the law shall be justified. For when the Gentiles, which are Israelites in a Gentile state of mind, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are a law unto themselves. You know in your spirit, as an Israelite, that if you kill somebody, you know that's wrong, whether it's taught to you or not. You know that inherently that's wrong. That's why to Esau, or Cain, he didn't know it was wrong. That's why when he rose up and killed his brother Abel, when the Lord confronted him about it, he lied. He said, like, no, I ain't do that. And first of all, I ain't my brother anyway. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, you are your brother's keeper. Supposed to look out for your brother. It says here, 23rd verse, thou that maketh the boast of the law through breaking the law dishonoreth the Most High. For the name of the Most High is blasphemed among the Gentiles through you, as it is written. The Gentiles are Israelites in the Gentile state of mind. You got all these Israelites coming against the whole Israelite camp thing. You can't be following these camps. And we believe a lot of them getting paid off. For circumcision verily profiteth if thou keep the law. Hey, well, you can change that to putting fringes. It says, for putting fringes on verily profiteth if thou keep the law, if thou keep the rest of the laws. So you got IUIC, they'll wear fringes. Where your fringes at, Ark? Where your fringes at? You ain't got no fringes on. But then they'll follow the Sabbath as being Friday sundown to Saturday sundown all the time, which is bullshit, because the 14th day of the month in the first month of the year at evening is a Passover, which is a Sabbath according to the law, and it's a Passover. So if Friday sundown to Saturday sundown is a Sabbath, then the Passover would have to always fall on the Sabbath. Give me a list of times that IUIC followed the Passover it always fell on the Friday. Never did. So you got the fringes on, talking about where your fringes at, Ak? Well, when does the Sabbath come in? And prove it. They can't prove it. None of them camps that call Friday sundown to Saturday sundown a Sabbath, they're lazy. They don't research. They don't think outside the box, so to speak. But if thou be a breaker of the law, thy circumcision is made uncircumcised. So we can change circumcision to fringes, right? But if thou be a breaker of the law, you're not helping. You calling your fellow Israelites bums and not helping them, not offering them, not opening your house to them, not restoring them. Thy fringes is made like you don't have no fringes. That's why do you think the Lord? Matter of fact, let's go to that. Why do you think the Lord in Matthew 23? Then speak Yahushai to the multitude. And if you would call yourself a prophet of the Lord, aren't you going? All the prophets, did any of the prophets prophesy and not know the name of the Lord? Saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat, all therefore whatsoever they bid you observe. So this right here is the what did our Lord Mashiach say to the children of Israel? What did he say to the woman that was condemned for adultery? He said, go and sin no more. What is the word sin? To break the laws of the Most High. That observe and do, so keep the laws, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne. They put hell on you and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. That march that the IUIC does, that's to be seen of men. Oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. Then you ask them certain points about their doctrine, as opposed to another camp, they won't know. Well, I don't know all that. You know, it's analogous to it's the same as, analogous meaning the same as, you go into church and they saying, how was church? Oh, the church was good. The preacher sure preached good. Well, what did he go into? I don't know, but he sure preached good. The IUIC is nothing but a church mentality type of group. It's that they make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments. So let's look at that. First of all, they don't even wear phylacteries. And you know what they'll say? Well, the phylacteries are spiritual. Oh, okay, all right, but the fringes are physical. Where's that in the scriptures? Let me see. They be seen of men. They was on a horse because he likes to be seen of men and women. Phylacteries. So let's go into it. I want to go into some roots. I'm going to see if it goes back. A fortified place provided with a garrison, a station for a guard. Okay, so they're saying it's a garrison. When you put a wall or a breach, put a wall around. This is what they did. The Romans did to Jerusalem. A preservative, a safeguard, an amulet. The Jews used this, or the Israelites used this word to describe small strips of parchment on which were written the following passages of the law of Moses. The Pharisees were accustomed to widen, make broad, and their phylacteries. So that's that thing that they put, the leather thing that some of the small hats wear, which that's in the law. Let's see if it takes me back to the Hebrew. Okay, it doesn't go back into the Hebrew, but it's in the law. Matter of fact, let me do this. I believe it's in Deuteronomy chapter 6. Let's see if I'm correct. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, key point is in the 8th verse. You really got to start from the first verse. Let me go to the first verse. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Obey the Most High and prosper. These are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which Yahweh, your most power, commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go to possess it. So I'm going to jump right down to 6th verse. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, thy mind. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in the house, and when thou walketh by the way. It says in Deuteronomy 18 that the king of Israel is supposed to get a copy of the laws, and he's supposed to study the laws every day. And when thou liest down, and when thou risest up, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon. That shows you that it's physical. So if you run into an IUIC member and they say, where your fringes at? You say, well, look, where's your phylacteries at? I already know what they're going to say. Well, the phylacteries are spiritual. No, it's not. Let's pull out some of the word. And they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. So let's pull out some words. That's what you call in the New Testament phylacteries. Bind. Let's look up the word bind. The word there is quashar. To bind together, lead together, conspire, right? Hey, conspire is to bind, the two or more coming together. To bind, confine, to lead together, to bind one, to fasten. To bind them for a sign, Awath, or oath. That's where you get the word oath. When you want to become a slave forever to your master, which is a Hebrew to another Hebrew, you put an O. Let me see if it's here. As a sign that you love your master. So the phylacteries are a physical thing. Right upon the head and between the eyes. So these guys are playing games. Where your fringes at, Ark? Tell them, where's your paddle? Where's your weapon? You're supposed to have a weapon on your side. Next to your weapon, you're supposed to have a paddle. And then you're supposed to have phylacteries on. Pursuant to Deuteronomy chapter 6. So now, let's come back over here. So I didn't even get a chance to watch this video, but I spoke about it. I touched on it yesterday. So here it comes again. And so it says NBA Shaquille O'Neal hilariously addresses rumors about his 4 women. So what I did was, where is it? So here we go. Because IUIC teaches that you can only have one wife. And I believe they're teaching you can have that in the kingdom. How you gonna do that when there's gonna be a shortage of men? Pursuant to 2 Corinthians chapter 16. When you read 15 chapter, 16 chapter, there's going to be a shortage of men. And Israelite men will become more precious than fine gold. The Israelite men are the prize, but people don't recognize it, but they're beginning to recognize it. And Shaq, now they're saying it's a rumor and, it's going out there. But now Neo, he ain't playing. We're going to go into Neo too, the singer. Shaq talks having, which proves that they're Israelite. Ain't no, what Edomite, even among the small hats, they ain't doing that. He got a TV show called The Sister Wives, which I believe that's BS. But it shows, if that's the case, then that shows you he has 4 or 5 Edomite women, and they ain't got no problem with it. Now, can you imagine getting a bunch of Jake women under one man and being in complete? It can be done. It can be done if you get stupid women, but they got to go from being stupid to being righteous. A woman that believes she's about something, she got a degree, she ain't gonna share with the other. But because of Trump, thank the Most High for Trump, he's cutting everything. So now you gotta be creative, and now you need a man. You don't need a man until you need a man. It says Shaq talks having 4 white girls. Why white girls? Why don't he have mixed girls? Only have a Jake woman, cause he done been with the Jake woman. All these guys that make it, you know what they realize? The black woman ain't shit, because the black woman say you gotta have 200, you gotta have 200,000 or more. You gotta have a 6-pack. You gotta be 6'5", and then you got guys that fit all those that list, and they still give you a fucking hard time. Hey, Mike Tyson with Robin Givens, right? This guy was a multi-millionaire, and he still had trouble with that demon, man. This is why these Jake men, when they really want to settle down, they'll get an Edomite or even a Latin tribe. Look at Eddie Murphy. He's happy. He always got a smile on his face. Shaq talks having 4 white girls at the crib chilling. Says he's not selective. Just hilarious. Recently claimed he had 4 white women living at his Atlanta home. Now let me know if this is bullshit, but I wouldn't. And is he going? But let's say he's doing it. So what? That proves further proof he's an Israelite. Shaquille O'Neal has been making headlines after Jess Hilarious claimed that he has 4 white girlfriends living in his house, and he got a big house too. They're a little ashy. I'm sorry, that's not in reference to the white women. I need you to do me a favor. He said, I need you to back up. I don't want my 4 white women to get upset. When she asked how long it would take him to learn every angle, he said, I don't know. I got 4 white girls now. Later in the conversation, Shaq's 4 white women came up again when he and Fontenot, if I'm saying it right, started discussing selectively while dating or when seeking marriage. I don't need to be selective. I got 4 white girls at the crib chilling. Shaq said it around the 42nd minute mark with a smile. In the words of Chris Tucker, don't worry about what the fuck I'd be doing. Early this month, Jess Hilarious claimed that Shaq had 4 white women living in his Atlanta home after she paid him a visit. Yo, this man is living like Neo. She told her fellow Breakfast Club host, Charlamagne the God and DJ Envy, he got 4 white bitches. See what else does it say? So now let's look up at Neo. Okay. the singer Neo the singer Neo have 3 wives. There's another Israelite that whether he knows he's an Israelite or not. The Spirit testifies with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. While Neo has publicly stated he is in a polyamorous relation. Poly meaning many, and amorous loves, many loves relationship with 4 women openly. He does not refer to them as wives, because you have wives and concubines, right? We went to that before. In a legal sense, that rather as his loves. There's another term, polygamy, polyamorous, meaning many loves. Polygamy, many women. What's the other one? Paramour, another word for concubine. Paramour meaning through love. Concubines are second class wives. So you listening to IUIC talking about you can only have 1 woman, that ain't the right spirit. You ain't in the spirit ain't working with you, bruh. Here's a more detailed look at the situation. Polyamorous relationship. Neo has been open about his polyamorous lifestyle, stating that he is in a relationship with 4 women. Is he going to burn in hell, UIC? Inquiring minds want to know. They're looking stupid. See, that marching with the purple and gold ain't going to help you, man. And it says not legally married, despite Neo's public. Because you don't gotta walk down the fucking aisle and get a license from a judge. You get the first woman that you get you're the first to get with this woman, this young woman. 12, 13 years old, 14 years old. There ain't no vows involved. You just deal with her and she's your woman. Despite Neo's public statements about his polyamorous relationship, it is important to note that polygamy is not legal in the United States. But you can be a flaming, alphabet person. You can have relations with animals in this fucking country. You know how look, adultery is legal in this country because nobody gets arrested. You don't see nobody getting arrested for having an adulterous relation. You don't see nobody getting put to death. But if you a man and you got more than 1 woman and you legally get married on paper, oh, you can't marry this going on with my son-in-law. You can't get married. He got married to a chick years ago, and he got to disannul that marriage, which he never did, to get married again. No, you can't get. We're looking at the records. 25 years ago, you was married to such and such, and you got to find her, and you got to legally separate and get a divorcement before you can get legally married, which is nothing but a business contract. You be a fucking jackass to legally get fucking married. And this is what this black bonehead Nate pushes. Oh, you got to get legal. You got to go to the judge. You got to get it on paper. Let me read this again. Not legally married. So they can't get him on nothing. Right? But legal goes into the paperwork. Then this clown, he goes to the book of Tobit, and he goes into the legal, it says you got to be legally binding, by paperwork. It says, despite not legally married, which is smart, despite, now, there's no prenup. When a woman leaves, she leaves with nothing. When you get married, she leaves with half. You the one that did all the fucking work. You play for the NBA for X amount of years. You busted your knees up. You got all these guys that are athletes that have been playing for many, many years. They got fucking problems. Your body breaks down because you go beyond the limits of what your body can do. It says, despite Neo's public statements about his polyamorous relationships, it is important to note that polygamy, that's why he used the word polyamorous, polygamy is not legal in the United States. But two men can get together, two women can get together. Matter of fact, two men can get married, two women can get married with each other. This is why this place is going to be destroyed by fire. And I'm going to say again, thank the Most High. All praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai for choosing Trump to be in there. He's doing a great job. And him cutting everything is going to make us stronger. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. Divorced father. Neo is divorced from his ex-wife, Crystal Renee, and is the father of 7 children. Open about his lifestyle, because there's nothing wrong with that. And you can't call him a hoe. But if a woman does that, she a hoe. So let me look at her. Let me get a good look at her. Let me see. And does he have women of different nations? Inquiring minds want to know. Okay, give me a second here. Okay, what's this all about? Okay, let me go here. Okay, so let's see. Oh, no, she ain't my type. Now look at this, She ain't, no. She ain't my type. I ain't saying that she's, I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't effing with no broke. And he likes some light skin. Yeah, no, she's not the marrying kind. She's not the marrying kind, Yeah, got the tongue out. She's freaky deaky. Just saying. So let me come on back. Get some more. Family and community. Neo has emphasized that his polyamorous relationship is based on family and community, which is, it's not a weird thing, because David had many wives and concubines. Solomon had 1,000 women, 700 wives and 300 concubines, and they were all virgins, man. They were not 43-year-old divorcees. R&B singer Neo adds 4th wife to his growing harem. What does Romans 8:16 say? How do we know that why would you guys say that you're Israelites? Because we're doing what Israelites do. You Edomites ain't doing that. Them Arabs are into that too. Okay, let's look up the word harem. Harem meaning. Meaning. Harem in former times, which is coming back in style. Concubinism is back in fashion. And that's what we're going to have in the kingdom. We're going to have harems. We're going to have Israelite women as wives, and we're going to have concubines of the other nation in the kingdom. Why did I say that? Are we going off? No, because these men that had concubines, King David, Solomon, the Most High didn't have no problem with that, even though he said, multiply not unto thyself wives or horses and so forth, and gold and silver, and don't think about going back to Egypt, right? But did the Most High punish, did not Yahweh did not he tell David, look, why did you go commit adultery with this woman? I know why he committed adultery, because she was foreign. I gotta have fun with this. She was a foreign, Jim. She was foreign. If you don't know what I'm talking about when this guy got beat by Frank Bruno got knocked out. He said, how you doing, Frank? How you doing? He said, I'm fine, Jim. I'm fine. Well, David saw this woman taking and they were built back. You got women that are built now, but them women back there were built. They were built. They were stacked for real. So he got aroused, man. And so he had to cover. He said, I want to keep getting with this. So I'm going to set her husband up. And the Most High said, you know what? Why did you do this act? He said, look, if you wanted more women, I could have gave you women that look just like her and find it in her. But what's the song? Heat of the moment. The heat of the moment. I lost my head, lost my mind, didn't know what to do. Well, that was King David. I fell in. I think the word is lust. I think it's lust, right? And that's after 7, if I'm not mistaken. It said the separate part of a Muslim household, actually a Hebrew, ancient Hebrews, even Edomites had more than one wife, reserved for wives, concubines, and female servants. That's a harem. So Neo has a small harem. Shaq, if that's true, Shaq could do it if he got the means to do it. He got the means to have Edomite women, and and if he does have Edomite women, good for him. Just don't marry him, cause Jake know about our woman. They know about our fucking woman. They know what our women are all about. You don't want. You live long enough, you don't want to deal. Now there's a few of them out there. There's a few of them, but it's far in between. Okay, it says what does harem mean in slang? A group of women associated with one man. Right, Neo should come to mind. What is the definition of a harem? A harem traditionally refers to the part of the Muslim, the Hebrews. It's a Hebrew thing. Household or palace reserved for women, including wives, concubines, and female relatives, no servants, and is a place of forbidden men. Is a place forbidden to men. Well, you pick out of the harem. You have the eunuchs chop their rod off where they can't pop these women. And then back in Middle Ages, you had chastity belts. So let me give you a couple of scriptures. I don't want to make this too long. Okay, a man having more than one wife. Now they're going to give you a bunch of scriptures saying that, going into the fact that you can only have one wife. 1 Timothy 3:2, and it says, speaks about a bishop, right? 1 Corinthians 7:2, When Paul said that, if there was a man in Corinth that had more than one wife, Paul couldn't tell him, no, you can't have no more. That's why it's not in there. When did Paul say, look, you got too many wives? You got 3 wives, you ain't supposed to. Paul never said that, because pursuant to the law, you can have more than one wife. This is easy stuff. Right, let deacons be the husband of one wife, or bishops, because their focus is on the church, on the temple, which the priests. Bishops are nothing but modern day. Bishop is another word for a priest. And he shall not require many wives for himself. Yeah, but you can have more than one wife. Now, Solomon had 1,000 women. Most I didn't have no problem with that. What made him go off is when he got old, them young women got to him. Go here, go. First Kings 11:3. He had 700 wives who were princesses and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. Now, one woman can turn away your heart. One woman can turn away your heart. So in the kingdom, we're going to have many, many wives and many, many concubines, and they're not going to turn away our heart because they'll get put to death. There's only going to be one supreme power. Behind him is going to be Yahushua, and then the king on the earth, number one king on the earth is King David. And that's all throughout the scriptures. This is back to the basics. Right, this right here, the Lord said, why did you go after this woman and commit adultery? And you killed Uriah with the sword. He didn't physically do it, but he set him up to get killed. Right? Isaiah 4:1 will take place on this side. Let's look at perfect example, Neo. Neo has 4 women, and he's open about it. So he has an agreement with the women. And he ain't turning back. He ain't turning back. He ain't going back to one woman. He ain't living the traditional. Neo is an Israelite. Shaquille O'Neal is an Israelite. If a man have 2 wives, one loved and the other hated, they have a son. The one that he hates is the firstborn son. He gets the lion's share of the inheritance. This is Esau. And Lamech, I'm sorry, let me see. Yeah, Lamech is an Edomite. And Lamech took 2 wives. So Esau even did that. Let me try something. There's the ESV. Let me go to the KJV. You gotta go through all these damn. KJV. And Lamech took unto him 2 wives. The name of the one was Adah, and the name of the other was Zillah. Okay, give me a second. Okay, let me read full chapter. Genesis 4. Right, it's talking about Cain, which is Esau, Cain, or one of Cain's sons. Let me do this. Back to the basics, back to the basics, back to the basics. And Cain knew his wife. Okay, Lamech. Let me do it this way. Anyway, that's another example of, let me come on back. Sorry. This prophecy is going to take place on this side, and it's going to continue on the other side. What does Isaiah 32, you can really start from the first verse. You're going to need a husband. Deuteronomy 21 and 10 on down. You see the enemy, you destroy the enemy, you take the woman, the survivors, if they beautiful in the sight of your eyes, which are another nation, you take them, let them mourn for a month, then you go into them and they become your wife. So we had wife. The word wife, when you go to the Hebrew, the word there is ayasha, which means woman. That's all it means. This is my woman. So there you go. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom, on to the next shalom.